So that is the next question I want to come to you with. Before that, I also wanted to follow up because there is a biological clock that is kind of positioned against
So
you, which people think to be able to have my own kid, there is a age cutoff that I have to look at, and that is where the pressure comes. A little bit of family, but more from the biological clock in itself. So as in might be contrarian. Do you need to be married to have a baby is one question that is out to debate. And then second thing is, just because you want to have a baby, you don't go and get married to someone.
I had actually a friend of mine. She and I were having this topic this discussion on this topic, and she said, now these days the only reason a woman needs a man is to have a baby, to reproduce.
Yeah.
And soon enough, I'm sure technology will find a way of how to have it different ways. We already
Eliminate the
have,
man.
Eliminate.
artificial insemination,
Vayuputra.
whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you just need a sperm, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
so things are changing. So, yeah, yes, there is a biological clock. I feel nature is changing as well, where things biologically are going to evolve. We as human beings, as a species, are evolving. That's my firm belief.
This has
But
been long there in the livestock industry, that there is a healthy
you
bull.
can freeze eggs, like we were talking
Not
yesterday.
freeze egg, free healthy bull. You retrieve sperm from it, and
Yeah.
then you inseminate all the other cows. And then when the cow
Okay.
is pregnant, and
I,
once it is
I
done,
don't want lots of my child clones running around, but hey.
so what happens is, after the calf is born, if it's a male, it is usually slaughtered as a veal
Yeah.
when it is younger. Only if it's a female, it is given the privilege to grow up,
There you
and
go.
then it becomes a lifelong slave. But then the whole, so that I don't think that will happen. Then the need for men need women more than women need men
Totally
in now,
agree.
in current
In
days.
I
current
have
age,
a
yes.
different opinion
No,
here.
even I
You
have.
know, I feel, I mean, it's personal, totally personal. I feel marriage is necessary because only one value that other things cannot teach, whether work, whether child, whether whatever, is commitment. Marriage teaches you a lot about commitment. And why marriages don't sustain nowadays is because, earlier men used to be. Uh, Many years back, I'm talking about when the institution of marriage came into existence, men were supposed to go out and get money for food, and women were supposed to take care of child. Men were always worried, if I don't have a wife, who's going to manage my house? And women were worried, if somebody is not going out and earning, who's going to feed me? So there was dependency, and that dependency always bonded them together, and there was commitment for that dependency. Now, men can cook, women can earn, so dependency is reduced to a very large extent. But then, how do you talk about this commitment? If there is live in and if there is no commitment around, we are losing on the value that humans are supposed to carry, or, commitment. So, I feel, I look it from that
That was.
perspective.
It makes it
Yeah.
even more difficult for you to break up when you're married, right? So the whole thing of, it's
Correct.
like a lid on a candy jar.
Right. So
So
you are talking about community living and you are talking about commitment, right? You are talking about raising a child together. So that commitment is taught only when you are married legally. Otherwise, it's very easy to stay for 2 years together and separate out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
even I
I'll go.
agree
I'll
with
go
her.
back on your previous question. I happen to be from the family where my grandmother was the first woman in the Banya community to do her graduation in 1930s. And when she was doing her graduation, her father was told that, आप लड़की को इतना क्यों पढ़ा रहे हो? Why are you teaching your daughter so much? Because she will not find a guy for herself. Like, she'll not be able to find somebody who's as educated. So that was the background. And then my grandmother went on to teach, and she was one of the most progressive women ever. My mother is a PhD in organic chemistry, and I lost my dad when I was very young. I was 2 years of age, and My mother literally, and my grandparents, they just took care of me. So from, coming from that kind of a family, that was never an option not to have a career, because a lot of women I see, even my cousins, used to see, used to take their career as an option. They'll do the best of professional degrees, but they would get married and then get into a, follow the husband wherever he travels and everything. So for me, it was always a decision that my career comes first. And every time I used to get an increment, my mom used to say, how will we find a guy who's being able to
Gonna
match your
match.
pay packet? And I was like, I don't want him to be able to match my pay packet. I want him to be able to, be able to connect with that person. And the right person eluded me till I was almost 45 years. And when COVID came, and that was a story, Gautam, I wanted to tell you about. So, uh, you know, there were people, I mean, people who, the second wave, we were having a lot of problems in all sides of the family. And then my mom was like, now at least you think of getting married. And I opened up one of the social media apps and, set up, "Acha, let me find a guy." And I was in Delhi all through my life, never wanted to leave Delhi, same house, born and brought up in for the last 45 years. And connected with this guy online, and the first time we spoke was for 6.5 hours. And
Wow.
unfortunately or fortunately, he happened to be in Bangalore. And so this was 31st of May on 2021. And then he said, I want to come and meet you. I said, no, it's peak of COVID, you're not coming and meeting me. 13th June, he came to Delhi with a morning evening flight, cancelled his ticket, again cancelled his ticket. uh, 15th of June is when we proposed to each other, and 19th of June was when we got married, and 26th June I
Right.
came here. So living in together, I don't know, maybe at that age you just, you know that this person is the right
Right.
person.
So there is no
Yeah.
They have
age.
no age.
And in fact, then I was in my corporate career, and then he was the founder of Bert Labs. And uh, then, he's like, till when will you keep running after salaries? High time you start paying salaries. And decided to shift to becoming a co-founder in the company. And now we are 24/7. So we are trying to make up for all the lost time we are